Welcome to the WACO Experience, an American story.
We, the people.
With your host, D. Scott Smith.
In order to form a more perfect union.
Interviews with leaders in business, government, and nonprofit organizations.
Promote the general welfare.
Jobs, products and services, and infrastructure for strong communities. Secure
the blessings of liberty.
The WACO Experience is an American story, a story of communities across America. It is your story.
Played high school ball at Giddings High, and then I got recruited by Baylor University, and I came to Baylor in 1984, played football here, had some great teams, great coaches, and that was a fun time. So I've been in Waco, since 1988.
In this episode of the WACO Experience, an American Story, I talk with James Jarmon of Meals on Wheels. We had a fun conversation talking about how the organization is helping to provide food for housebound seniors and addressing issues of loneliness. Sometimes you just never know what direction an interview will go. James was a running back for the Bears here at Baylor. And it turns out I watched his son, Hunter, play wide receiver at my alma mater, the Oregon State Beavers. I'm your host, D. Scott Smith. You can learn more about this program and sponsors and find links to the podcast version of this program online at thewacoexperience.com. Our sponsors are the best. White Bluffs Construction, custom building, home remodeling. I encourage you, call Seth at 254-227-2002 and schedule White Bluffs Construction to build your patio, deck, or pergola. Visit their website, whitebluffsconstruction.com. My wife and I had questions about healthcare insurance. Monica Shannon of Texas Healthcare for You listened to us, answered our questions, and helped my family find the right coverage. Call Monica today at 254-339-3421. Visit the website, txhealthcareforyou.com. That's txhealthcare, the number 4 and the letter U.com. Biddy and Beau's Coffee offers hot and cold beverages, catering, and provides employment for people with disabilities. Sometimes the staff will break into karaoke while you're enjoying your beverage. Visit Biddy and Beau's Coffee today at 110 Franklin in Waco. ChordBuddy is the world's best way to learn guitar. 100% U.S. made, this learning system and Shark Tank winner will have you playing real music on a real guitar right away. Learn to play guitar today at ChordBuddy.com. Cactus Rose Ranch. Young, old, or in between, learning how to work with a horse is confidence building. Cactus Rose Ranch offers individual lessons or monthly memberships. Contact them for riding lessons, ranch parties, horse boarding, and their nonprofit program, Healing Heroes with Horses. Online at thecactusroseranch.com. Well, here we are on location with Meals on Wheels. I've got James Jarmon today, the Director of Development for Meals on Wheels here in Waco. And we're on location. I am your host, D. Scott Smith. This is the WACO Experience, an American Story. So, James, let's jump right into it. Let's get an introduction of you and Meals on Wheels.
Like I said, I'm James Jarmon. I'm a Director of Development. Been in this position for a little over 2 years now. In the past, I worked with kids, with the youth of Waco a long time. Boys and Girls Clubs, mentoring the Lions. I did a little of that. And I even had a job at Texas Juvenile Justice Department in Mart. Helped run the gym down there, and that was tough. That was tough. I came back to the Boys and Girls Club just recently. Was my last position as executive director for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Waco. This just kind of fell into my hands, and here I am today.
So a lot of people might be familiar with Meals on Wheels in name, because it's a large organization. It's a national organization.
Yes.
And you guys are a chapter of that here.
Yes, sir.
But you serve 3 counties.
Yes, sir. We serve McLennan County. That's our biggest. And then we got Falls and Hill County. So we cook over 1,500 meals a day, 5 days a week. We deliver that many meals. And then we, some of the rural areas in McLennan, some of the rural areas in Hill and Falls. And then they get a frozen meal. And inside our frozen boxes, there's 5 meals that'll cover them for the whole week and everything.
So let's talk about who you serve, who Meals on Wheels here in Waco serves.
And they have to be homebound. They can't drive, and then they have to be at least 60 years of age. We do get some clients that's referral from different agencies, a hospital and stuff, and they, let's say that someone's in hospital, had major surgery, and then they can't prepare meals for themselves for about a few weeks. But normally we sell a homebound, they got to be at least 60 years of age. Yes, sir.
And let's talk about how people would avail themselves of these services. What's the contact information first?
Our contact, they can call us here at the office at 254-752-0316, or you can go on our webpage, mowwaco.org.
And so what about, family members, friends can reach out for somebody that fits that criteria. They're over 60, they're homebound, they can't get out. They need this type of service.
Yes. And we also have a Facebook page as well too. We're not hard to find.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm thinking too, this is different than like a food pantry.
Yeah.
Because there are a number of different food pantries around.
Right.
People can take advantage of that if they're facing a food insecurity.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Meals on Wheels is different.
Yeah. We're different. When I first got started, even when I was with the Boys and Girls Clubs, I knew what Meals on Wheels were. I knew that it exists, but I didn't know what all was available and what all that Meals on Wheels did. It blew me away. I thought they just gave food to people and fed people, whoever you want, come up and get food. That's what I thought. But it's a lot more in depth, and they offer a lot more services than just serving meals. We do serve a hot and a cold meal to our clients, but also available to our clients. If you're not homebound, if you need a place to go congregate and meet other senior adults, have fun, they can drive to one of our senior centers, and they have all type of activities and games that they play, and they do arts and crafts. They do a little everything in the senior center, and that way they don't have to sit at home and get old. Because what's the old saying? If you don't use it, you lose it. So
yeah,
so we have our senior centers, and then we have groceries to go. So some of our seniors who possibly need extra food, extra groceries, and then we work with a church here, Carver Park Baptist Church. They bring food over for our groceries to go. And if the clients have pets, they can let us know, and we'll take food for up to 2 dogs or 2 cats and everything.
That's really good, because isolation, loneliness is a big issue.
It's a big issue.
Pets are great companions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we often think about that.
Yeah.
When I think of Meals on Wheels, I'm not thinking
pet food.
Bringing cat food, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it is necessary.
It's necessary.
That's a great addition to the services there.
And one other service, and we have transportation. We work with the Transit of Waco, and they help us provide information on who needs a ride somewhere, one of our clients or whatever. And we have transit cars here and stuff, and we go pick them up, take our clients to where they need to go, to the grocery store, to the doctor, or to a hair appointment, a beauty shop and everything.
I like that. The personal care stuff. My wife's aunt is going through cancer process right now.
Oh, that's hard.
We went to visit. One of the things I noticed is she had her makeup done and her hair done. She's, there's something about taking care of yourself that helps your attitude. Yeah. And the doctors say attitude is a huge part of your health. So you're taking people to different appointments, and they can sign up for that as well, being enrolled with Meals on Wheels here in Waco. Yeah. Let's talk about your journey into this, because I know Meals on Wheels as an organization here in Waco started back in the mid-'60s, and there's a little bit of information on the website. You got the senior centers. I think there's 12 or so that are being addressed right now. So we talked a little bit about your background, working with the youth, Boys and Girls Club. What about where did you grow up? I
grew up in Giddings, Texas, which is about an hour and a half south of here, down 77. Played high school ball at Giddings High, and then I got recruited by Baylor University, and I came to Baylor in 1984, played football here, had some great teams, great coaches, and that was a fun time. So I've been in Waco, since 1988. When I first got here, me and my roommates was talking, hey, we can't wait to leave. We got to graduate and get out of here. And then I stayed.
So football brought you to Baylor, brought you to Waco.
Yes, sir.
And I got to ask, because we're a football family, what
Okay.
position do you play?
I play running back.
You were running back?
Yes, sir.
And then your son went on to play
Yes.
football.
Yes,
He
Hunter.
played at my alma mater.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Hunter Drummer went on and played football at Oregon State. He was fortunate enough to have a football and baseball scholarship. You know, baseball was his first love. He just played football in the off season. So
Well, I tell you, in high school, it's one thing to play multiple sports. In Division I sports,
Yeah.
that's a whole different world.
I'm going to tell you a story here. One of his favorite athletes, and as he was coming up, me and him used to watch ESPN. He said, "Daddy, da-da-da-da-da-da." And he loved the documentaries. You know, Beau knows. That video Beau knows. Beau was one of his favorite athletes coming up. He's one of his heroes coming up. And he's an MLB he's an MLB scout. He scouts for the Miami Marlins, and he scouts in the Southern California area. And one of the guys gave him an authentic Bo Jackson signed jersey.
I love that.
So that was, he said, "Dad, it just blew him away."
Another multi-sport athlete,
Yeah.
Bo
Yeah.
Jackson.
Yeah.
So,
And when he was at Oregon State, he had one of his first articles at the newspaper put it out, it was headline, "Oregon State's own Bo Jackson." So he loved that.
you go.
He loved that. So, yeah.
Well, I tell you, Corvallis, where I grew up, loved Beavers football.
Yeah.
And they're loyal.
They're great community. Me and my wife went down to visit Hunter to play on. It was always cold and rainy, but
Welcome to the Northwest.
But we loved it. I mean, I can breathe. I mean, I loved the air. It was a little warm during the day and cold at night. I loved it. It was a great time there now. And then the city, the community, you're right. They love their Beavers football. Whether win or lose, they were there.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I remember growing up when the loser of the Civil War, and that was Oregon versus Oregon State.
Yes.
When I was a kid, the loser of the Civil War was the worst team in the Pac-8 back in the day. Pac-8. So, so football brought you here. What did you study at Baylor?
And I was a recreation major, recreation leisure services.
So you really moved into your degree field, working with youth.
Yes, sir.
And so what was your first job then out of Baylor?
Out of Baylor, well, my senior year, I did my internship at the Boys and Girls Clubs of Waco. You know, all of us, we think we all going pro, so I thought I might have a shot. And then I did the summer before my senior, because I graduated in December. So that summer, I did my internship at the Boys and Girls Club, and I had a great executive director, John LaGoria. He was our executive director at the time, and he said, "James, you know, hey, if you want to stay," I said, "Well, I can, because I got to go back and play football then this fall." He said, "Well, if you're looking for a job, come on in, and I'll see what I have for you whenever you want to come back." I said, "Okay." I wasn't planning on coming back. I was planning on getting up out of Waco, getting out of here and gone, but it didn't happen. So, and then when I graduated in December, January came. I said, "Hey man, Baylor ain't give me no more checks. I got to pay rent." And NFL ain't no teams calling me, so I went back to the Boys and Girls Club and got back with them and worked there from '89 until '97, until '93, because we had a scholarship program at the time called Passport to Success. A multimillionaire, Paul Meyer, him and some other guys got together, and then they started the Passport to Success. So any member of the Boys and Girls Club, if you come and do your service, be a member, they'll pay for you to go to college. So I helped work that program for the last 4 years when I was with the Boys and Girls Club, and then I came back to Baylor, and then Baylor hired me. I was academic counselor and an advisor and everything. So
you went from a college student as an intern. You worked your way through to executive director. I got lucky
on that one. When after I left Baylor, I worked Baylor for about 10 years, and then I took a job out at the Texas Youth Commission. It's called Texas Juvenile Justice Department now. It was out in Mart, and helped running the gym down there. And oh my God, that was one of the toughest jobs. I thought I wanted to work with at-risk kids.
Yeah.
I was a little more at risk than I needed.
Okay.
But I stayed there 6 years. to 6 years, and then opportunity, for me to get out of there. And some good friends of mine, they knew I was trying to get out of there, and then they said, hey, how about the Boys and Girls Club needs someone? You want to go by? I said, hey, I know about the Boys and Girls. That's where I got started, and an opportunity came up, and then I took it, and we got back together with the Boys and Girls Clubs, and then the Mentoring Alliance stepped in, and they run the Boys and Girls Clubs now at Waco, and it's a Christian-based company, and the kids, I tell you what, I'm gonna tell you this, it is the honest truth. Once Mentoring Alliance came in 2021, once they came in and took the discipline area, with the Christian base coming in, studying about God and Jesus, the disciplinary, all the discipline, it was no more. It just great. It was just like the kids, just the light turned on. Hey, I don't got to act a certain way no more. That they did the best. I'm serious.
Wow.
It changed how they act. But we didn't have many fights, many disciplinary. I'm sending people home. We didn't have to do any of that anymore. It was great. And then it was time for me to do something else. And
so you end up over here at Meals on Wheels.
Meals on Wheels.
And so this is interesting. So there's some similarities between where I grew up in Corvallis and here in Waco. It's one of the reasons why we love Waco. Being a college town is good. We were over at the final spring practice at the Baylor Club and watching the youth with the football players on the field beforehand, and then they went in, came out for the warm-ups and did that. Watching those athletes work with the students, they're passing on what they learned from their coaches and mentors. And I want to ask your perspective on that, because you've got a different perspective. You were a high school athlete, excelled, came to Baylor, had coaches here. You've been involved with youth and the leadership. Let's talk about how important that is.
Oh, man. That's all the youth want. They want someone they can look up to, someone they can respect, someone that'll either just give them some attention. Youth just want attention. And if you got athletes, from the athlete's standpoint, they got to realize how much power they got over the youth, because the kids want to emulate them. They want to do what they do. How many times I've been, hey, I'm Michael Jordan, or me playing football. Hey, I'm Tony Dorsett. Hey, because I'm a Cowboy fan. I love those. I mean, that's what youth. It's an imagination for them. That's what they dream. So as an athlete, you gotta embrace that. And when every opportunity that you have, the youth come up and, hey, can I have your autograph? Don't be so high and mighty that you can't bend over and give him a hug. I don't have a pen, but shake his hand up. Or you have a sweat, give them something. You know what I'm saying? That's going to make their day. And when we did that when I was at Baylor, we went out to different service areas and helped the youth and go to school and, and visit them at their schools and stuff. Just wearing our jerseys. They said, oh, they'll play. They went crazy. So that meant something to me. So when I got out and working with youth, that's one of the reasons why I think that I had a easier time when I got into the Boys and Girls Club. They knew that I played football. And then they said, and then, that first summer I was there for my internship, they found out that I played football for Baylor. Oh, they listened. They sat down, and I had a deep voice too. I was loud, so I think that kind of scared them a little bit too.
There you go.
But yeah, athletes, they have that power, and the kids, when an athlete talk, they all eye contact, ears open. I'm gonna tell you this one story. I'm getting off this a little bit. And then my son, when I was working at Baylor, I had and my supervisor there. He came and I brought Hunter up there with me. He met Hunter, and then he got down on his knee to talk to Hunter, and he had his shades on. I think Hunter was 4 or 5 years old at the time. He said, hey, sir, could you take your glasses off? I can't see your eyes. And that sat so well on my supervisor that every time he saw Hunter, he said, Hunter, remember when you told me to sit down and that did something. So that's how youth is. They're gonna tell you the truth. They care, and they just, and they're wide eyed, and they just wanna love and say, hey, I want to touch this guy. Hey, this guy, he is real. Even though I see him on TV to play or come watch him at a game, he down the field, I'm way up here in the stands. So athletes got to embrace that, and they got to make sure that they're doing right, because when they do wrong, there's a whole lot of eyes watching them. And I took that to heart. So that meant a lot.
No matter what Charles Barkley said, he is a role model.
You're a role model.
You're a role model.
You're a role model.
Anytime you're in a leadership role,
you're a role model.
People are looking up to you. Mm-hmm. They're watching what you do.
Yep.
One of the things that I found about coaches, those instructors, those adults in my youth that taught me things, in many cases, sure, they taught me the sport or musical instrument or the mathematics or whatever, but the really good ones taught me more about life than that subject. Mm-hmm. Is that your experience as well?
Yeah. When I was in junior high, I was kind of fast and everything. So, and our high schools and our junior and high school in our 7th, 8th grade, I was able to, 7th, 8th grade practice, and then the varsity and junior varsity freshmen came on the field, same field. So when they came out there, I kind of stuck around, admiring those guys, say, okay, I'm gonna be up here too. I'm ready. But then one time, and we had a track meet. I'm sure they get in trouble for it now. They probably should have got in trouble for it then. But I was in 8th grade, and they were short a leg on the 4x1 relay, and they said, "Hey, junior varsity says, hey, James, you wanna run?" I said, "Yeah, I'll run." Yeah,
of course, yeah.
Hey, they put me in there on the 3rd leg, and hey, I was running with those boys in 8th grade. Those junior varsity boys. It was great.
That's a great day out. James Jarmon, here we are in your office, Meals on Wheels. Baylor football brought you here to Waco. Mm-hmm. You stayed. Thank you for staying.
Yeah.
Thank you for pouring into youth and now into seniors.
Yeah. Yes.
And the Meals on Wheels, you guys are cooking food and delivering it. Mm-hmm. And that's different than a lot of what's going on in the food pantries. Yeah. But what do you see as the future, and how do people get involved with Meals on Wheels?
Hey, that's a great question there. I'm gonna tell you, because our volunteering program, and I'm gonna tell you right now, and I said it, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Volunteers are our heartbeat. Without those volunteers, we couldn't deliver. We couldn't do what we do without our volunteers. And you can volunteer. You can help deliver meals. You come pick up meals, help deliver meals to our clients, or you can come and help. Like I said, our groceries and our pet food program. You come pick groceries up, and we'll give you a route where you take the groceries to. And our pet food, hey, we get pet food donated to us a lot. And please keep it coming, y'all. Keep it coming. We need the pet food. And we want to make sure those pets get fed. And you have opportunity, to come here at the office, and we have our pet food in our annex building out there. They can help bag it up, so they can, because we get it all stacked up, so they put them in separate bags so we can send them out to our customers, and then they can help once they bag it, put it on the route from shelves in the garage here. Just put on the route shelves, and all the volunteers got to come and pick it up and go. So there's many opportunities that you can do, and we also, on some holidays when we're not open, we try to keep feeding our and then our clients. So we have self-stable meals, and they can come. Volunteers can come help put those meals together. It's like a little box meal, non-perishable box meal. That we give them. So if we're gonna like this last week with Good Friday, week for that was Good Food was closed Good Friday, but on Wednesday and Thursday we got our and those box meals out along with their hot meals, so they can have a meal for Friday. So there's volunteering. Like I said, they're our heartbeat, and we need them, and we love our volunteers. We try to worship them when we can, because I know how important they are. They just as important as I am to this organization right here.
Yeah, volunteers. A lot of nonprofits run on volunteers. Mm-hmm. People have the opportunity, and this is a great place to serve.
Yep.
There's nothing better than delivering something to somebody that they didn't have to pay for.
Exactly.
When I was a kid, my mother owned a flower shop. I tell you, the best thing was delivering flowers. You're the hero, right? You get to show up with the goods.
That's the good. Yep.
So I'm telling volunteers right now, you can be the hero right here.
And
Coming down and talk to James.
And I'm gonna tell you, man, when the volunteers will tell you also, when they deliver their meals, they got their routes, and they know those clients on those routes. And not only they're a volunteer delivering their meals, a wellness check as well. Because some volunteers, they done went to a house where someone didn't answer the phone and they were lying down on the floor and fell and couldn't get up. So they're there, what you call it, life button that you mash.
Right, yeah.
I can't remember the name of it.
That alert.
That alert, yeah.
Alert, right?
The emergency alert. So our volunteers is a lot of our clients' emergency alert. So, I mean, I love to do this one route, and as the last person on that route, she's a darling, and I love her to death. Because I know I'm glad she's the last person on that Route 6, because I know that I'm going to have to spend at least 10, 15 minutes there just to talk to her. And she's lovely to talk to. She's lovely to talk to. And we have a good time. She says, JJ, I love you. And I say, Miss Crepper, I love you too. So and you get to know a lot of them personally. And a lot of them got kids, but some kids are too busy, or some kids are not here in Waco. They're out of town, and some don't care. So those clients, they depend on the volunteers as well as we depend on them. They know what time the volunteers is coming. Some of them sit right there at the door, have their door. They sit on the porch waiting for you. So yeah, and then you got to spend. I spend the time. Then you got to put the time in to speak. And a lot of our volunteers, they make it personal. They go back and visit them even without a meal. So, and that means a lot to our clients. So,
a lot of wisdom with our seniors.
Yes.
James, thank you for letting me come by and hang out with you here at Meals on Wheels today.
Hey, we appreciate you all, and there's another way that you can get involved as well. Hey, we do accept donations. If you want to come by and speak with and then with us or with me, we can talk about you can sponsor a senior. You can sponsor them once a week or a day, or you can sponsor them a month, however you want to do it. Or we just take whatever donation is on your heart, and we accept those too. So, and you can go on our webpage. It was MOWWACO.org, and the first thing that'll pop up is our donation thing. You just punch that donation thing and put in there whatever you want to put in there. Or you can come by and bring it by, and we'll give you a tour of this place, let you see operation, how it works, and from ground up, and then we can go from there. Okay, I appreciate you, Waco, and all the communities in the McLennan, Fall, and Hill County, and all the counties around here that if we can be a help, please contact us. Okay, thank you.
The Waco Experience, An American Story, is a production of D. Scott Smith Company, all rights reserved. Thank you for listening.